In Neon Odyssey, how do we do bards in space?
You know, we wanted to make sure that the song of creation was well represented. This galaxy is the Stardust Rhapsody. Existence and creation is a song. And so, of course, those that are musical or have any kind of artistic expression are able to tap into the very song of creation itself to have wonderful magical powers. We wanted to make sure that while music is a huge part of the setting and a huge part of this class, that you could have it be spoken word. It's art, it's acting, it's speech, it's activism, whatever you want to do. You are an icon of ideals, of expression, of however it is that you're expressing yourself. That is how you are able to tap into the song of creation. Richie, why don't you talk about the first two subclasses?
Yeah, the first subclass is the Hollow Star. And given the setting of Neon Odyssey, we had to do our 80s pop star. This is glitz, this is glam, this is lights and drama. This is really all about creating holograms that are an extension of yourself, being able to heal and buff and cast spells from your hologram, and really kind of giving that glamour aspect. And this doesn't have to be, again, an 80s pop star. This could be a social media influencer. This might be a news reporter. We wanted to kind of cover all of these sci-fi themes. If you are really influential in kind of a glamorous or out there way, this is the Hollow Star. The next subclass is the Remix. The Remix is all about self-expression. They're very mobile. Usually they're on roller skates or rollerblades, or they're running fast. They want to express themselves either through music or through art or through graffiti or tagging, whatever it is. They prefer kind of any music with a beat, whether it's EDM or hip hop and beyond. And they're able to inspire their allies by zipping through the battlefield, past allies, past enemies, spreading their music and their influence.
Then we have the Headbanger, one of my personal favorites. These are the metal heads or the punk rockers that are here to smash. They can turn weapons into any kind of instruments and beat up bad guys. They dive into the fray and mosh and are very great in a martial way, but also are blowing things up with thunder damage, and they're able to kind of create this thrashing pit of violence and tearing things down or beating things up that even their allies can join in on. And they don't necessarily have to be musicians. They could also be activists, or they are rallying their allies just through their spoken word and their inspirational ideology. And then the final one is the Soul Jammer, which we can't have a setting that is inspired by Cowboy Bebop without having that smooth jazz. And you can basically play your smooth music to chill out your allies and help buff them up or heal them, or you can be frenetic and jam in such an erratic way that it actually warps or messes with the soul of your enemies. Once again, it doesn't have to be a musician. This could be spoken poetry or scatting or beatboxing, whatever you want to do there. And I mean, we had to have the saxophone subclass. It was a no-brainer, really.
So our first two subclasses in the Outrunners Handbook, we start with the Hollow Star, and the Hollow Star can very much be your pop star, your K-pop demon hunter, but you're all about creating a hologram and sort of bringing it to life through visual and not just sound or music. Now you can do your sound and music through it if that's your particular jam. Like in Stardust Rhapsody Anthem, we have an icon Hollow Star. Nikki plays Pixel Pop, and she is a pop star icon, so very, kind of gem in the holograms style. And so they get to create this hologram and they can move it around the battlefield, and then not only can they influence people through it, they can also channel their magic through it. Anytime they cast a spell, they can create the spell as if they were in the hologram space.
A little bit trickery, domain cleric.
A little bit.
In terms of that. And how do you get more powerful as time goes on?
Yeah, so as time goes on, you get you get to really sort of expand your command of holographic and emotional resonance magic. So you'll get much better at creating illusions. You'll be able to effortlessly create them sort of on the fly, maybe even without concentration in some cases, whereas otherwise creating a complex illusion would lock you out of doing other spells. It wouldn't necessarily for the Hollow Star.
That's very cool. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be playing that.
Yes.
Tell me about the next subclass.
So the second core core offering for subclasses for the icon is the remix. So they're highly mobile and they help their allies become highly mobile. And when they offer their iconic inspiration, they can make their allies faster and they can make them avoid opportunity attacks when they move. And they can sort of activate this aura where when they're zooming around the battlefield, they can move near enemies and kind of mark them for setups later that will sort of combo with their allies to make them formidable presences. So think things like...
I mean, I immediately think of Quicksilver when the music is playing and he's moving in slow motion.
Sure,
And,
yeah.
Yeah, I love the idea of this icon zooming around the battlefield and giving little nudges in the right
like on
direction.
neon rollerblades,
Yeah,
that sort of thing. And another cool aspect of where you could take these is, instead of in the musical direction, is you could go in like a street art direction, like a graffiti artist or like a tagger, that sort of thing.
How do you help the rest of your party? Because I assume there's like a support element to all of this.
All of these subclasses give you new ways to sort of interact with your iconic inspiration, and so the remix will give their allies who have that die different interesting things they can use it on. Kind of a slightly more targeted debuff that they could use against enemies, as well as buffing themselves.
A more strategic resource,
Yeah.
essentially, that you can mess around with. So
Absolutely.
a little bit more of a tactician
Yeah.
iconic. Yeah.
Yeah. Mobility, battlefield reposition, buffing your allies, slightly debuffing your enemies. Yeah.
That's awesome.
We have two more, like all the other ones. We've got the Headbanger. The Headbanger is a heavy metal rocker type. Rocker type icon. Yeah. We like thinking about, musical and non-musical ways you can go with this. On the musical side, it's like punk rock, heavy metal, high energy, thunderous music kind of thing. Or you could even do like a slam poet, charged spoken word, like think a Henry Rollins kind of vibe. And like a street activist would make an awesome headbanger if you didn't want to go the musical direction. And one of the cool things they can do is they can build a martial weapon into a musician's instrument.
Yes.
So you could build a
your axe is
literal
an axe.
power axe into a guitar, and your axe is an axe. Yeah, absolutely. But if you wanted to be like, say, a poet or a protest organizer, kind of resistor activist type, you could use a microphone or a bullhorn, and then maybe you could make that into like an electro flail, something like that. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I love that. How do you increase in power over time?
Yeah, so their inspiration, when they give their iconic inspiration to their allies can burn it to add to damage rolls and turn all of the damage that their attack dealt into thunder damage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they give them a little bit of that hard-hitting rock vibe. And eventually they set up resistance to thunder damage to their allies, and they like to mix it up and get in toe-to-toe, so they are a little bit of our brawler bard. So they get extra attack, and they activate a mini combat stance whenever they use their iconic inspiration. So when you buff your ally, you get charged up and ready to run in and mix it up.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you are.
So you're
in the throng.
You're whipping up the mosh pit.
Yeah, you're whipping up the mosh pit. I love that. Also, thunder damage not commonly resisted.
Not super commonly, no.
Yeah, I play well magic sorcerer, and that's why I convert things too. I go right for the thunder damage, thunderball instead of fireball.
Watch out for the silent spells, and you'll be golden.
Watch out for silent spell in general. Mm-hmm. And then we've got one more.
Yeah. The last one we have in the Overdrive expansion is the Soul Jammer, and they're all about connecting to the emotions and souls and energy of their allies and their enemies, and then tweaking those levels. So like soothing their allies, and then like mellowing or sort of nullifying their enemies.
When you level up this character, what is the fantasy that you're building towards?
Yeah, so they'll have the ability to spread around things like temporary hit points to bolster them against the hardships that they're about to face, stripping harmful conditions off of your allies, and then sapping your foe's ability to attack or their fervor, and dampening their rage. And
nice. And a nice good debuff subclass. I love a good debuff.
Yeah.